Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of the Universal Soldier podcast. So as many of you know, and maybe you can tell from the element of fake tan that's on my skin still, this last weekend I competed in a men's physique competition with the WNBF at the Supernaturals in Birmingham on Sunday. So that's what we're going to be talking about mainly today, is men's physique and what's involved in that, and hopefully this can help someone who's maybe looking to compete or maybe looking to diet down and get into great shape for whatever reason, just improve body composition really, and I'll highlight some of the challenges involved and rewards as well, because there's always two ends. So first of all, let's just summarise the show. Unfortunately, I didn't get the result I wanted. I was aiming to qualify for the Worlds in Seattle in about 4 weeks' time, to be part of the Team GB. Though just came short of that, so I'm a little bit disappointed with the result, obviously, though I'm very, very proud of my development in my physique and my ability to perform on stage. In physique, we're wearing board shorts. The judges are looking for muscularity, condition, shape, a nice V taper, broad shoulders, high definition on the abdominals and obliques, good definition and density on the back, and generally pleasing on the eye. So attire and haircut and everything all comes into play. Posing obviously is another big one. It's one thing having a good physique, but if you can't display it properly, then you're not going to do very well. We've got basically four in WNBF. There's just 4 quarter turns that you need to do. So in that sense, it's quite simple. You need to transition and make everything look nice and fluid, and the presentation of those mandatory poses is also judged upon. So I felt I did very strongly, solidly on all of those, and certainly better than what I've ever done before, as this isn't my first show. I think I've done 3 or 4 now, and this is definitely the best I've ever looked. So I'm very, very pleased with that, and still I feel like I've got a lot more to improve upon. The day itself was, it's really a whole weekend. You go up on the day before to register, do your tanning, and polygraph as well, because this is a natural show. I mean, I think bodybuilding and this sort of thing gets a bad rap because everyone assumes everyone's taking some form of performance enhancing drugs, and to be honest, most people who are doing these sorts of things are. Most competitions do not test for drugs of any sort, so it really is kind of like an unhealthy kind of industry in general. So that's why I don't want to really get into any untested competitions. That's not my bag. I want to keep myself as clean and healthy on the inside, as good on the inside as I look on the outside. Exactly. So we have to do a polygraph test, which is basically a lie detector test. So you're strapped up to blood pressure cuffs, you're synced up to this computer where your heart rate monitor and everything, and they asked you a bunch of questions, fill out a questionnaire, and so I'm not taking any testosterone or hormones or um, stimulants. I'm like epinephrine or anything like that. That's going to help you have a massive clear advantage over anyone who's natural. So that's all got to get done on the Saturday. So that travelling up there was a very long day. It was about a 2.5 hour drive, and the traffic on the M1 was horrible. That's that stress didn't help my physique for the next day, because meals were a little bit off in the terms of the timing. I felt like I was a little bit underdone the food, and I was sort of stuck still. I couldn't move about to help mobilise that food through the day, which is not something I'm used to doing. I'm used to doing plenty of steps through the day and keeping on moving, really. So that all helps digestion, and we didn't have that, so I actually had a really, really bad stomach on the Saturday night, or I couldn't even tense my abs. It was so bad. I was so distended. It looked horrible. But thankfully that did clear in the morning. I was able to have a couple of bowel movements, which is very, very important going into a show that you're feeling clean on the inside, because that's the last thing you want, to just sort of like almost like constipation going on stage. You want to be clean, you want to feel dry, and so there's a little bit of tapering back on the water side of things. Some people, I have in previous years tried doing like no water at all, and that just hasn't really worked for me at all. So I did have probably about a litre of water. I was on stage about 11:30, so I had, no, not probably a litre, probably about 750 millilitres through the morning, where I normally had probably 2.5, 3 litres by that point, so quite significantly less than what I would have normally had by that point in the day. So I did feel very dehydrated anyway, and I felt a little fairly dry on stage. I wanted to talk about a little bit about why I got into men's physique in the first place. Mainly because I wanted to challenge myself, basically. I think I had a lot of health problems through my late teens into the early 20s, and that really sort of dented my self-confidence quite a lot. Had a lot of anxiety issues, mental health issues, and putting myself out there was a daunting task to me, especially being in front of an audience in any shape or form. So stepping on stage for the first time, I remember, was extremely scary, but I did it, and I enjoyed the thrill of it, and I did feel my confidence grow from that point. So that's why I think I've sort of stuck with it, and I like the shape that I'm building, looking at other athletes and taking what I like from other athletes and trying to bring that into my physique. And I like the way my body's evolving, and I can really now say, like, I'm very happy with my body. I'm not, obviously I still want to make improvements, but I'm very happy with my body, whereas I didn't used to be that happy with my body, believe it or not. Even though I looked, maybe some people say I looked pretty decent then, but to me I wasn't happy. But now I can say that's one thing I've achieved, is now I'm more happy with my physique. That might change. I need to make sure that I like staying in condition most of the year. I don't like to puff up like some of these guys do, and really kind of dirty bulk and consume large amounts of calories and blow up to like 20% body fat. But I would like to sort of maintain sort of, abdominal lines, vascularity in the arms and shoulders, and I'm happy with that as long as I've got enough energy to go about my training, my business. Then that satisfies me. So that's really why I got into men's physique, was the challenge of it, and I still want to challenge myself. That's why I'm still doing it, and now I'm not just challenging myself to sort of step on stage and just get over the fright of being on stage in front of people, being judged by other people, but I also want to challenge for medals and places, and that was the goal this year, and I was right up there. I was in the call outs, competing and being in those comparisons for the top places and the qualifications to the world. So I was very, very close to what I wanted, and I'm sure if I improve again, I'll be right up there again. So that's the aim going forward, is to continue challenging myself. And you learn a lot about yourself during this process. You learn about the body, how your body reacts to different foods, changing of the macros, changing the stimulus in your training. So there's a lot to be had from it, and that will help me as a coach as well as a therapist as well, in helping other people achieve better body composition, and if aesthetics is their goal, I understand how to build and sculpt a physique that is appealing on the eye, shall we say, aesthetic. So that's really why I got into it, and why I'm continuing to do men's physique competitions. Sometimes I say to myself, why the hell are you doing it? But those are the reasons. It gives you a focus on your training as well. That it really does fuel, intense motivation for sure. And that is a trait that I want to have as well. I want to. It teaches you that focus, that discipline, that mindset that is required, I think, in other aspects of life as well. So that's what I'm going to be hopefully taking from this, and then trying to put into other aspects of my life, in business, relationships, and things like that. So it's not all just driven towards just one area of life and sort of physical body, but health and business and other aspects as well. It teaches you that focus, that discipline, that mindset, as I say. So that's one thing it really does teach you. You can't be taking any days off when you're prepping for a competition. The prep for this show was about 16 weeks, although really it's year round, I should say, really, because you're building all year, and then it's about 16 weeks to get in stage ready condition. And through that period, you're just making incremental changes to your diet and movement through that period. So for example, for the first 4 weeks, I don't think I made any dietary changes whatsoever. I just increased the amount of steps that I was doing, or averaging per the week. So I think I was anyway averaging maybe about 12,000 through the week. So I upped that to 15, and then after another 4 weeks I upped that to closer to 20, which I found was probably the peak of my average through the prep. After that, it was just about managing, really being careful about blood sugar, and so carbohydrates would be a little less for the next 4 weeks. Then I would bring that back again and look to have like leaner, drop the calories and drop the fat down, and not really give myself any chance of storing fat by not consuming any. So leaner cuts of meat, so going from cuts of like beef, lamb and things like that, or salmon for instance, to white meat, white fish, where there's next to no fat whatsoever, and certainly being careful of like binging out on the nut butters and things like that. Um, I'm not one to cheat and eat dirty food anyway, as most people know. I'm always about eating clean whole foods, organically sourced where possible, and the best sources of meat I can get my hands on. So I was still having like all the organ meats as well, trying to keep my hormones as strong as possible, getting to bed on time throughout this whole period, especially towards the end when the fat was really trimming off and I was looking a bit gaunt. It's already coming back a little bit, the chubbiness in the face, but I was really streamlined and not much on me. I was really starting to flag, and by the end of the day, some days I could barely stand up, so it's like bedtime by like 8 o'clock most nights, at the latest. So, but it was get up quite early and get moving through the day. It's pretty much like keep moving. That's the best way, I think, to modulate the insulin and blood sugar response from eating, because regardless of what you're eating, you're always going to get an insulin spike, and it depends on the person, what type of foods and things. So it's very individual, your diet, but one key thing I think, to managing blood sugar and control is get moving. Increase your movement, particularly after eating, and being very conscious of meals later in the day when perhaps you're less mobile. So meal timings, I would cut off my food at most nights about 5 o'clock is the latest I would eat anything. So give me some time to burn that off before hitting the sack, and then whilst you're sleeping, that you're in fat burning mode whilst you sleep, so it's like bonus. If you eat light in the evening, so consume more calories during the morning period and then taper it back towards the end of the day. That's another really good trick if you want to start getting lean, is to eat at a window, calories stacked more at the start of the day. To maintain muscle, if you're worried about losing muscle during this cutting period, calorie deficit, heavy calorie deficit, and intense movement, I think I felt like I can't prove it, but I felt like I actually gained muscle. I maintained, at least I actually got stronger during this prep. I was not able to sustain the sets for long. The volume of the sessions really came back, but I maintained the intensity of the sessions, lifting heavy weights, towards max weight. Some days, in my typical sort of training fashion, didn't really change, just tapered back on the volume quite a lot. I think that's one of the keys to maintaining muscle during an intense dieting phase. Train with intent, train with intensity, train with aggression, and obviously ramp the protein right up to try and maintain your nitrogen balance. That is one of the biggest keys, and I think one of the reasons why I still felt so strong through the prep is because I was having so much protein. I was having towards the end, say in the final couple of weeks, well, I was really digging hard for condition, because I know that's a main factor in what the judges are looking for. Um, in these shows. So to get to, I'm just estimating myself at about sort of 5-6% body fat. We're really starting to see like veins on the abdominals and legs and all over your body. It was literally just no carbs for literally nearly 2 weeks solid. No, very very little fat. It was white fish, broccoli, and cauliflower, and not very appetizing food really. Although I did obviously spice it up with like turmeric and other things like that, to herbs and spices to give it some flavour. But it was 2 weeks of really digging for it, and it did work. It worked. It done the job. And then you follow that up with a bit of a carb load during the peak week, where you're looking to just fill out the muscles with muscle glycogen, so you're looking nice and full on stage. And I felt maybe, with hindsight, I made a slight misjudgment. I tried it slightly differently this time, and I really went heavy with the carbs early, and I probably did it a tad too early. I think I went a day or two too early. I probably just waited till the Thursday. I started on the Tuesday because I felt so awful on the Monday. It was, I was on my knees at that point. I was, having a bit of a wobble in my head, shall we say, at that point. I didn't have too many wobbles during the this prep, but that was one I do remember, where I thought, I just can't do this anymore. And you're thinking, oh, I've got to look awful, look so small. But then all those carbs come back in and everything just starts popping again. So that gives you the confidence when you're looking at yourself and analysing how you're looking. So it's all good stuff to look back and learn from. With hindsight, I would have delayed the carb load just a little bit. And then water just gets tapered down towards the end a little bit, but I keep the water in because your body is like 70% water, so you need water to get a good pump backstage and make yourself look good when you're on the stage. So yeah, that's how the prep sort of went. Anything else to add? Adding in things like resistant starch, lots of prebiotic fibres, like with the vegetables. This all really, really helps, particularly when you're going low carb. I went pretty much zero carbs, and almost went into sort of ketogenic style of dieting without the fat. So your body goes into that sort of mode very well, and what helps that is that prebiotic fibre, and that fuels that those ketones in the body, and that butyric acid that the body sort of creates when it breaks down in the gut. So that really, really helps, and it helps you keep you satiated as well, and stop you craving other carby stuff or sugary stuff. So yeah, I think that's everything. I didn't do 1 ounce of cardio. I tried going out for some jogs and runs early on, and I felt just this isn't going to be sustainable. So I think that's one thing that you need to focus on when you're dieting, is you need to find something that's sustainable, because the running, although that may burn quite a bit more calories than, say, walking, the damage it was doing to my body and everything, the soreness, the fatigue, I couldn't have kept that up. So I decided very quickly, look, I'm just going to walk, literally just going to walk, and that's all I needed to do. I can walk fast, I can walk slow, and it's not going to do me any harm at all. Um, I'm not going to cause any muscle damage doing that. So it's about managing your stress levels as much as anything else during this prep, because you're dieting hard, you're restricting yourself significantly in the kitchen. Um, you've got the emotional stress of the event coming up. There's a lot happening in your head. Um, so really you've got to manage that stress levels as much as you can. So going out doing hardcore hit style cardio workouts is only going to compound that even more, and would have been a massive detriment to my health. Potentially could have made me ill, and then that would have fucked everything up really, and certainly would have fucked up my physique. So that's why I didn't do any cardiovascular work at all. Just literally walking, which I feel is enough. I still feel very very fit. I can walk all day long, and I think if I go out for a run, I could still probably do, a very very handy 5k time, just through doing the strength work in the gym, along with the walking, as well as maintaining a very low level of body fat. That means I could run pretty well. It might take me a couple of weeks to get the running legs back, but I think cardiovascularly I'm pretty strong, which help having a strong aerobic background, by the way, and that in itself really helps you to get lean as well. So not saying don't do any cardio. I still think cardio is very very important, and one of certainly the most important component of fitness and general health. So don't negate the cardio, but I'm just saying, like, you got to manage your stress levels. Stress is the biggest killer, and cause of disease and ill health, and when it comes to body composition as well, I think it's one of the biggest culprits in you storing body fat in the wrong places, and losing muscle as well. So just look to manage the stress levels. Now I'm eating a little bit more, maybe I can start to incorporate some cardiovascular work during this so-called off-season, when I'm not preparing for a competition, or well, I'm building for maybe another one, perhaps next year or the year after. Now I've got more energy, I've got more diet's not so much of a stress for me. I'm a bit more flexible with food. I'm not worried about how many carbs I'm having and things like that. I can go and attack some cardio workouts for sure. I can start to incorporate that, and as long as it's sustainable. So I'll have to piece together my program for the forthcoming weeks and months. It's sort of roughly in my head, but I need to sort of figure it out and juggle it around with work and things like that. So keys for programming, you need to have something that's sustainable and that's not going to cause undue stress. What else was I going to talk about today? The challenge is really the stress of the whole thing, the emotion, pressure from peers perhaps. I had a lot of support. I was grateful for all the support that I had during this prep really. Friends at the gym, Big H, Julio, Marco, all the guys at NRG, all supported me very very well. I'm very thankful for all of them. Kaz on the day was a top bloke, top geezer, always very supportive. Mum at home, understandable of my mood swings, So I felt very supported by most people, and then I think everyone expected me to do very well. Unfortunately, I didn't deliver on that part, but it just shows you the standard nowadays of how this men's physique and natural federations are really growing, which is great to see. Because you want strong competition, you don't want it to be easy. And everyone up there was 20 guys, I think. Everyone was absolutely shredded to the bone, very, very low body fat, great muscularity, condition, and everyone well worthy of being up there. So it was a great competition. I do, recommend anyone going in for men's physique to go in it with no expectations of, going up there and winning, especially if it's your first time, though there are first timer shows that you can do, but because the standard now is just so high, but if you just go up there and try to enjoy it and do your best, and get yourself in as best shape as you can, prepare for a bumpy road in your preparation, and enjoy the ride, really. That's the name of the game. And just go out there and enjoy it, and then analyse yourself, and maybe go out and do it again, if you enjoy it, and look to improve, change your shape, and look back over the years and how you progress. I think moving forward for me, I'm over the next few weeks, I'm just going to be looking to manage my stress levels back down and looking to reduce kind of like the toxic load on my body. I'm at the moment taking out caffeine from my system completely and looking to really try to calm my nervous system back down, because I feel like that's probably one of the biggest things that's stressed through the high intensity training that you do with the strength training, but everything in your life, that triggers the fight or flight response. So many people walking around in fight or flight mode all the time. Now you can really see it. Caffeinated up, drinking alcohol, taking recreational drugs, eating junk food, energy drinks, watching crap on TV, Wi-Fi signals interfering with your body's like natural rhythms. All of this stuff really triggers stress in your body and triggers that fight or flight response. So that's what I'm looking to try and do over the next few weeks and months into next year, is to try and manage my stress levels, manage my nervous system, and to progress with my business and things like this and put more energy there, to become a little bit more balanced in my life, really, because when you're training for men's physique, it is very, very much very focused on that, and it's very hard to look at other areas in your life, and really move forward with those. So that's what I'm looking to do over the next few months. So that's it for me today, really, guys. I hope this little video can help someone, whether you're dieting, whether you're looking to do men's physique competitions, or just looking to get in better health and condition. I hope this really helps someone. So until next time, see you in the next video. Hope you have a good evening, and we'll see you soon on the Universal Soldier podcast.